Hi guys, my name is Nora and you're currently watching my channel. Thank you for being here and I hope you stay a while. Today I have a very special video for you. As you can tell by the title, I collabed with IvyBloom Advising, which is a college advising company started by some of my classmates at Brown University. In today's video, we met on a Zoom call to debunk some common misconceptions about the college application process. This is part 2 though, so if you want to see the beginning of this discussion where we might answer some of your burning questions, make sure to go look at their channel first and the link will be up in one of these corners. And then afterwards, come back to my video. Right now, I'll show the introduction for IvyBloom Advising and then we'll hop right into the Q&A.
Hey, I'm happy to say that IvyBloom Advising is officially live. We're a group of 7 diverse students who've gone through the college admissions process ourselves, so we know firsthand that it can seem really stressful, daunting, and uncertain.
That's why we're here to help. Altogether, we've gained admission into dozens of Ivy League schools, BSMD programs, and competitive honors colleges. We've devised a system to maximize our strengths on our applications, and we want to utilize these to help you stand out and bloom into the best applicant that you can be.
This fall, we'll all be entering the program in liberal medical education, the only combined baccalaureate and medical school program in the Ivy League. But all of our college admissions paths were completely different.
That means we have a wealth of knowledge, experience, anecdotes, and insider tips that can help any applicant get into the school or program of their dreams. When you receive services from us, we focus on you as an individual and put together a team that will ensure that you put your best self forward in your applications.
IvyBloom is an affordable, personal, and modern solution to any of your college admissions needs. Our suite of services covers BSMD and college admissions, from creating college lists to essay editing to interview coaching to standard test preparation and more. We aim to use our skill sets and personal experiences to give you the highest quality advising possible.
And for a limited time, all of our services are discounted. To browse through them and schedule your free initial consultation, please visit ivybloomadvising.com or email us directly at ivybloomadvising@gmail.com. Also, check out our Instagram and Facebook pages where we will be posting updates and hosting free Q&A sessions. We can't wait to meet you and make your college dreams a reality. I'm Hamza.
I'm Sophia.
I'm Ayush.
I'm Alex.
I'm Liana.
I'm Varun.
And we're IvyBloom Advising.
And now we're going to move on to the major myths about your major. Will applying to certain majors put me at a disadvantage or advantage in the college admissions process?
I think, similar to what Varun said, you're going to write down a major that you're interested in. Sometimes they even ask for 2 or 3 on your undergraduate application, but that's, again, just kind of showing what you're interested in and what you might be passionate about. So that's kind of the goal of the question on the application. But similar to what Alex said, if the school is separated into different areas or colleges based on engineering or liberal arts, that's a really good example. Oftentimes an engineering school is going to be a bit smaller within the university as compared to the science and liberal arts college, because just simply a majority of people aren't going to be studying engineering at kind of a normal liberal arts college. So if you're applying to an engineering program because you're interested in engineering, there could be fewer spots for students to be accepted into that program. So in that case, writing down that you want to be an engineering major may affect the statistics behind you getting into a certain program, just because there are fewer physical seats for them to let people fill. But as with Brown and honestly a lot of elite schools and a lot of just regular universities, you're usually applying to the school, as Alex said, and your major or the indicated major doesn't really make a difference in terms of admission.
And next, we're going to move on to myths about choosing schools. So the first one is, there's only one school that is perfect for me.
There's definitely not only going to be one school that's perfect for you, and honestly, I don't think there can be a perfect fit. You can definitely have preferences, but if you have this mindset of that's the perfect school for me, you can be setting yourself up for disappointment if you don't get accepted, because at the end of the day, it's not your choice whether or not you get into a school. So instead of having this idea that that's the only school for me, instead look at like whether you like bigger schools, if you like smaller class sizes, whether or not they have a major for you, and instead set those broader terms of like what you want in a school, and then choose different levels to apply to, in which you can and ultimately end up at a school that you're happy with.
And the next one is, I should apply to 20 plus schools to make sure I get into at least one.
This is definitely not true. I'd say that it's more about choosing your college list strategically. As the saying goes, it's about working smarter, not working harder. So submitting 20 plus college apps is not going to give you any more advantage than submitting like, say, 10 or 15 college apps that have been carefully chosen to include a wide range of like safeties, matches, and reach schools, because it's more about the different schools that you're applying to than the quantity. Like, I would say that if you have a lot of schools that you are likely to get into and that you would like to go to, then even if you have schools that are reaches for you and that you can't really tell if you're going to get in, you're still going to be left with a lot of good options. And applying to 20 plus schools is not going to provide you with an advantage. And if anything, it's going to leave you completely overwhelmed at the end of the college admissions process when you've received your decisions and now you have, say, 10 or 15 schools to choose from, as opposed to a smaller number that's a little bit more manageable, to really do your research and choose a school that's right for you.
If a school is ranked number 3, it's better than a school that's ranked number 4.
I think looking at school ranking in terms of like deciding what colleges to apply to is a bit of a double-edged sword. Like, on one hand, the quality of education is important, but on the other hand, it's often used as an excuse to not look at other factors of colleges in your like consideration process. Like, for example, like people fail to realize that these are places that you will be for the next 4 to 8 years of your life. There are so many factors involved in determining how successful of a student and how far you will come that don't have nothing to do with the rank or the quality of education. Even having said that, school rank is not a great indication of the actual quality of education in and of itself. School rank takes into consideration so many irrelevant factors like matriculation rate, like endowment size, that it's very easy to hack to get higher ranks. And as you apply to colleges and learn about colleges, you will find out the ways that they do this. So applying to schools on the sole purpose of rank is not at all what you should be doing in order to be a successful student. There are so many other factors that you need to look into, like campus life, like what opportunities do they have, what I'm willing to study. Those are all considerations that you should take before rank. Rank is something that can be taken on a large scale, but it should not be used to determine what school is right for me in and of itself.
Okay, and finally, I can only be happy if I go to my dream school.
Yeah, I definitely think this is a big misconception. I think that this has been touched before, but there are factors in your dream school that probably apply to different schools that you might not have thought of before. For example, if you're interested in like the smaller class sizes those are definitely offered at another school. I think the biggest takeaway is that you are the biggest factor in determining how you will take advantage of your college experience. So if you think that, okay, this dream school is the only place that I can flourish, then you're going to have a mindset that if you go to any other school, you won't be happy, and that's not true. It's all about how you make the situation, how you deal with it.
And now we're going to move on to a couple of essay myths. So, my essay needs to include everything about who I am.
First of all, it's impossible to write everything about yourself in one essay because everyone is so unique and everyone has so many cool interests and experiences that it would be a disservice to yourself to try and boil all of those things about yourself into one essay. And also, most colleges have at least 2 essays. Most even have more, because they want you to only focus on like one experience or one value that you have per essay, because they want to hear in depth about 1 or 2 things about you, because they're going to get to see a lot of different parts of you throughout your entire application. Like, they get to see your resume, they get to see, you know, what kind of clubs you were involved in, what kind of school you came from. So they already are getting so much about you from other things in your application, that in your essays, it's really about saying what's not on your application. So that already takes out like half of, I need to include everything about me, because like they know a lot about you already, but you have to tell them about like more of the emotional side of you and what you're passionate about, why you're passionate about things. You know, talk about some things at home, something that, again, they wouldn't know about you from just seeing all of the like stats and like resume type things. So I don't think you have to include everything about you. You know, it's about focusing deeply on one thing and making sure that you're answering the question.
And then my essay needs to only include SAT words.
Definitely not. If, or as Liana was saying, like your essay is showing a more emotional side of you, and ultimately it needs to be your voice. And unless you're someone who like consistently uses SAT words, which I don't think many of us are, your comment out essay should not be like, it shouldn't sound like really, what is the word? It shouldn't sound really busy. Like, it should sound more like you, so then college admission officers can get more of an idea of who you are outside of education, outside of school, outside of all these test scores and grades. And it should sound like well worded and like well put together, but overall you don't need to constantly be using SAT words, but it should just be like it should sound like a conversation.
And then finally, I'm going to pose a question to all of you. What is one tip that you would give to our viewers about the college admissions process?
I would say definitely make sure that you take time to reflect before you try to work on your application. I think that one thing that definitely helped me a lot during the application process was, for every essay, I would sort of brainstorm different paths that I could take with that essay, and like which aspect of myself do I want to highlight in this particular essay. And I think that that's definitely something that helps keep you grounded. And this kind of ties into one of the previous myths that we talked about having to include every single aspect of yourself in one essay. So taking the time to reflect before you write an essay can kind of help you identify the aspects of yourself that you're going to focus on, and make sure that you do justice to that aspect of yourself.
For my tip, I'm going to say definitely start early on your college applications. So I had a perfect storm of bad choices in that I waited till like September, October to start my college apps, and I chose to apply to a lot of schools, and those don't go well together. If you're going to apply to a lot of schools, it's not a bad thing in and of itself, especially if you're going to like higher level schools. Just start early and make sure you have a plan for what you're going to do when, and stick to that plan. See, I made a plan at the beginning of like the college admissions process, and what ended up happening is I did every application the night of. So please make a plan, start early, put some time and thought into your essay as a result.
I think that it's always important to keep in mind the fact that even though college admissions can seem like such a crazy, tumultuous time, and you see these like record single-digit acceptance rates, it's important to keep in mind that you will be accepted somewhere. I think that we can sometimes get really stressed out and think that, oh, we're not going to get accepted anywhere and we won't be happy. But that's definitely not true. You'll get into a college and where you will be happy and you'll be able to flourish. as long as you come in with a positive attitude, knowing that college is a time that you will grow personally. So I think that's important to keep in mind throughout the entire process.
One thing that I saw a lot personally, and I think is true for many high schools, is that within school communities, there's a pressure to apply and get into certain schools, whether that's super elite schools or schools nearby, or any other like subset. There's usually a lot of pressures from like your peers and maybe the student environment there to apply to certain schools, and then there's usually pressures from your parent to apply to certain schools, and a whole host of other places that could be telling you that like this is where you're going to be happy, and this is where you're going to succeed, and this is where you'll have the best chances of making a good career for yourself. But what's really important is like taking the time to reflect personally by yourself about each school that you visit or research, and think about, will I be happy there? That's the number one, because you're not going to learn well if you're not happy at a place. Then second, like, is this place good for me academically and what I want to go into? And then like, is there opportunity for me to grow as a person and a learner here? And try and, very much easier said than done, but trying to remove yourself from some of those outside influences and really focus on choosing the right college for you and not your parents or your peers and all of that.
I think one thing that kind of goes along with what Liana says is that one of the most like toxic parts of the college application process is the atmosphere that like inevitably arises of you trying to compare yourself to other people. And I think within the college application process, that's some of the worst and most detrimental things you can do for yourself and for other people. Because a lot of the time people get the idea in their head, I didn't get into this school, but this other person got into the school, this person is better than me. And that is, we are very complicated people with many different factors about us. It could have been any number of things that resulted in that. Please do not compare yourself to other people. You are focused on only yourself. You can't control what is on other people's applications, what they give to colleges. You can control only yourself. So please don't focus on other people in the college application process.
And finally, my piece of advice is just like, don't underestimate yourself. And when looking at colleges, if you think you're going to be happy or if you envision yourself being happy at a school, but you feel like, oh, I don't have the grades for it, or I don't have the score, don't let that prevent you from just applying, because you might just make it. That's like what happened with me. I literally was like, I'm not going to make it to Brown. So I was like already setting myself up, like, I'm going to go to this other school that I had in mind. But I ended up getting in because I put in an application anyways, despite my doubts and my fears. So, don't underestimate yourself. Just, like, try your best. And if you give your best, then you'll know. I mean, if you give your best, then it doesn't matter whether you get in or not, because you know who you are, and you might just make it. I don't know if that makes sense, but yeah. Don't underestimate yourself.
Absolutely.
This is a super fun collab, and once again, I'm grateful to IvyBloom Advising for reaching out to me in order to create this video. I hope you all had some of your misconceptions debunked, and I hope all the senior stuff seems a little less scary. Make sure, once again, to subscribe to IvyBloom Advising's YouTube channel, as well as check out their websites for any inquiries regarding the college application process. And make sure to subscribe to my channel as well to see more videos like this. Thank you for watching. See you next time. Bye.